What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to a backyard jeeping video. My name is Cherokee and today I'm inside of my freezing cold garage. I wish I could open the garage door and it'd be sunny and 80 outside, but I have a couple of months before I could do that. Today I'm going to be installing the THOR COWL air intake on the 01 XJ here. If you haven't seen the unboxing video, you can go and check that one out. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and share. Also check out the Instagram and Facebook at Backyard Jeeping, as well as the online store, backyardjeeping.com. You can also click the links in the description if you would like to check out the Instagram and Facebook, as well as the store, and also get you one of these really nice THOR COWL air intakes. So let's jump into this video. Okay, so before I jump into the install of the video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I'll be doing. So with the air intake, you would be removing your factory air box, so the whole air box will be coming out. You'd be really surprised at how much room you have on your driver side here with this air box being removed. So you can put a second battery here, onboard air, a storage box. I mean, you'll have a whole lot of room over here once this air box is out. So then it'll be running over top of the engine and goes right into the firewall over there. I believe you do have to modify the bracket that is holding to your little canister up there. But other than that, not a whole lot of modification needs to be done. You will be doing some cutting. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this install. Alright, so it doesn't really matter what you do first, whether that's loosening up your wiring harness, removing the air box, or removing this bracket. Doesn't matter which one you do first. My wiring harness was actually already loose, so I don't have to worry about loosening mine. And then you need to remove this bracket here. So there's a 10mm bolt on the bottom and the top. Just take both of those out and then it'll loosen up this bracket. Just like that. And now this bracket is loose. Get the wiring off of it. Alright, so as you see, I got my bracket loose here. And I just fished it from underneath the wiring harness. Now I'm going to disconnect the connector there and pull this bracket out of it. So to do that, you just want to lift up on the tab and pull it off. And then your bracket right here actually just slides right on out. Just like that. And I'll set the bracket off to the side because I believe we have to modify that later. And this can just stay right down here so we can do the cutting. So now that that's out of the way, I need to remove the wiring just right here. Just pull that out of the firewall and push that down up out of the way, just like that. Now, we got all the room we need to cut that right there. So this is where we'll be cutting at. Let me go ahead and get the bracket, mock it up here so we can mark where we're going to cut at. Alright, I got my handy dandy marking device, my Sharpie, and we got the bracket here. Let's go ahead and set the bracket into place. Looks like it'll be right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my drill and the drill bit. Alright, I got my drill and drill bit, and I'm just going to make just a little tiny little pilot hole for the self-tapper to start in. So what I've done off camera, since the camera wasn't recording because the memory card was full, I just have a drill and drill bit, and I just drilled some of the holes and then ran the self-tappers in. It's provided with the kit. So I'll go ahead and just, I guess, show this one here. Now I just want to say, be mindful of when you're drilling and cutting. You are cutting into your firewall. Right underneath that is your heater core, and you do not want to cut inside of that thing, or else you have to go over to Bleepin' Jeep's channel to figure out how to fix that. So then I just use the provided self-tappers. Impact with an unnecessary long extension. And then we just ran that through, and that's solid. So now what I'll do is, since I have that on there pretty good, it's not going anywhere, that's going to be the final spot for it. I can take the Sharpie and mark where I need to cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up in here and just make a line here. I had to go and get a different Sharpie. The one that I had was dried out. Oh yeah, that one works good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark this hole here. Just like that. About as good as I can. It would be, if I could go straight at it without the camera being right there, it might be a little bit better. But having to do it at this angle is kind of difficult. I'm going to put a little marker there, just like that, just so I can see how far out I can actually go, which I can go pretty far on this side. So what I'll do is I'll mark it down here, and then I'll follow that line up, just so that way I know. We'll go ahead and do the same right here, and then we'll go up, which I'm not going to cut here, I'm just marking so I know, and then it doesn't really matter how high up I go, I guess. So I'll go ahead and get this taken back off so we can start the cutting. Now if you had a hole saw, it might make it a little bit easier, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to drill a couple of holes on the corners. Once I get this marked out, I'll drill a couple of holes on the corners, and then just connect them with the grinder. Alright, I'm not sure if you guys can see my lines here due to the reflection from the lights, but I just followed my lines that I made at the bottom here. I went up, went across, and then back down. This is where I would use a hole saw if I had one, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to each corner here and drill a hole. Then I'm going to get the cutoff wheel on the grinder and start cutting. Got eye protection, ear protection gloves. Let's go. We got our piece out. I'll be able to come through with the flat disc, clean this up some. There's inside where it's going to go. So let's go ahead and grab that and get a test fit going. Alright, so we got our filter here. Let's see. Alright, looks like we're going to have to take some more up off the top, which is not a problem. Go ahead and get my gloves back, and we'll get that taken off. Alright, so I got my tube here. I got my bracket. So the way that works is the tube goes inside the bracket like this. And then you'll just put your filter in. Clamp over the tube there. You'll just shove your filter in there as far back as it'll go. Alright. And make sure that you have it to where your breather hose will be able to go on there. Shove that in there. Just like that. And then your clamp. Go ahead and tighten your clamp down. Now if you have a pre-filter, you'd want to put your pre-filter on also, so just be mindful of that. Alright, so after some cutting and forgetting about the camera, I finally got this thing in here. It's not in here all the way because I still have to get this bracket here. Now this bracket is for this canister right here. And it goes, you can actually use the hardware that they gave you. It goes right there. You just have to cut off this side here. Right here, just make a line down right near those bolt holes. And then it will line up perfectly with that. And you'll be able to connect that back. So let me go ahead and get that cut off. So as you can see, I modified the bracket. I just cut that side off. Now it will sit perfectly right here. We just use the new hardware that came. Alright, just like that, you got your bracket back for your little canister there. So we'll go ahead and hook that back up. Alright. Alright. There we go. Alright. Alright, take our connector. Take our plug and plug her back in. And that's done. That easy. Nice. You'll have 3 tabs on the side here. 1, 2, and then one in the back, which is 3. Go ahead and take off your breather hose if you can. Swing that out of the way. Alright, that's off there. Take your filter out, throw that out of the way, and then on the inside here you'll have 2 13mm bolts and a 13mm nut. So grab your ratchet or your impact with an unnecessary amount of extensions. Throw that out of the way, and boom, just like that, you are free. Now you got all this room right here for activities. You can build a book bed if you want to. Alright, now that you're off the tripod, look at all that room you got. I just got the intake covered up with a rag there. Look at all that room you got for extra activities. See a battery box, storage container, onboard air, bunk beds even. Now we just have to get the 90-degree elbow that goes from the intake onto the tubing. I have a new breather hose that I'm going to use, so that's going to come off. So let me go ahead and get that stuff, and we'll get back into the install. We got our 90-degree elbow here, and the way it reads THOR is the way that it goes on. Now, according to the directions online, is it says to spray a little bit of silicone lubricant inside of it just to help with getting it over the intake manifold. So that's what I did there. I'll go ahead and got the clamps. Just be mindful of how you put these on in case you ever need to take them off. I just have mine facing the firewall for the top one. I'm using a 1/2 inch on the impact. You don't have to use an impact, but I'm using one. Alright, so now that is connected to the intake manifold. Now we can work on the breather hose here. Now normally what you would do is you would just take this, spin it over, and then cut where you would need it. But I have a new to me one that I pull out of my parts pile here. That I'm going to be using, because this one right here is actually junk. See how loose that is on there? So I'll just take that off, throw that out, slide this one here, and it's got the clamp, and I'll go ahead and tighten this clamp down before I do anything else. Now I know where to cut. So let me grab my Sharpie here, and I'll just make a line. Right where I need to cut. And I'll go just above that line a little bit. Let me put my clamp on it. I don't think you really need it, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put it on there. Wiggle that bad boy on there like that. Oh yeah. Get your clamp on there. Alright, and that right there is how you put in a THOR COWL air intake into an XJ. And this thing is solid. It is not going anywhere. Like that thing is solid. Now, of course, it's not going to be officially complete until you add that horsepower, baby. Gotta have that horsepower, baby. Let's add that horsepower. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We just put a 5.3 in this thing with that. Let me take you off the tripod and show you around. Alright, here is the finished product. We got the horsepower on there, baby. We just did a 5.3 swap in this thing with that sticker on there. There's all that room we got right there. Pretty simple install. Again, check the description for the link if you would like to get one. And that's how you install a THOR COWL air intake right there. Sorry for the video being all over the place and jumpy. Memory card got full. Battery died. It was a mess. But if you'd like to get one of these, again, check the description. Also, check out the Instagram and Facebook at Backyard Jeeping. The website, backyardjeeping.com. Links for all that stuff is in the description below. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and share.